Let's mix it up.
Yes.
Listen, depending on what you ask, we're going to change the answer.
Yeah.
Even if you say what is right, I'm going to say yellow.
Well, that'll work.
What is
that
up?
works for me.
Down.
Ready to rock. For me now, this is one hell of a head-spinning movie. I was trying to describe it to somebody who hadn't seen it, and I sort of said, well, it's like Flashdance on acid or burlesque with balls, or maybe
Wow,
it's a little
burlesque
bit
with
like
balls. There you go.
Showgirls for the video game generation. There's all sorts of crazy going on here. I don't know when Zach first came to you.
Maybe let's not relate it to Showgirls.
Okay, maybe
that's
not.
dangerous
Okay.
territory.
But when Zach first came to you, was there a certain kind of description he gave you that gave you an idea of what to expect?
Well, I mean, he didn't have to give us a description. We read the script and we sort of understood what it was. I mean, you know, as much as it's a fantastical film that no one's ever seen before, you know, a lot of it was on the page. It's sort of, you know, there's very fleshed out characters. It's a very fleshed out story. I mean, I think the one part that was sort of missing when I read it was the visual aspect, because I think Zach is such a visual artist, a visual filmmaker, that that was sort of like the character that I wasn't sure what it would be, but you know, he provided us with storyboards and drawings and, you know, all these pre-visualizations, and I feel like we got all of these little treats, you know, constantly of like, oh, a new version of the mecha's out, and we would like run to his office and be like, let's see it, let's see it.
Yeah, but I feel like people try and box it into like, well, is it like this film? Is it like this film? And I really think, I hope at least, that we're doing something kind of new. I don't really think that you would really relate it to any other film.
Well, I was thinking that too, because, you know, it is such a mesh of so many different ideas. I mean, you could see Metropolis, you could see Blade Runner. At times it's Dickensian, with an emphasis on the dick, of course. I don't know, that stepping into that sort of world that isn't real, that hasn't been seen before, that is completely this wonderful imagination. Was it hard to find your feet because there was this unreality at all times to what he was going to come up with?
I mean, I think we had, you know, Zach had such a clear idea of exactly what he wanted it to look like, what he wanted his world to be. And as Jen said, we had so many visual references, and then, you know, we had time to talk about it and time to get in there and give our ideas, and Zach's really open to collaboration. So I think by the time we got into filming, you know, we had 3 months preparation before filming, so by the time we got in there, I think we were all pretty sure of what we were getting ourselves into.
I know just before the cameras roll now, people would know this, but Jenna, you were doing incredibly good dancing. Velvet Underground, I'm waiting for the man. But the idea that your character, Emily, Baby Doll, a bit like Nina Sayer in Black Swan, but beyond that, where you can, through dance, interpret huge scenes of battles with steam-powered Nazis or 20-foot samurais. Could you give me an example of how that dance works? Because I'm just trying to figure out how that was interpreted. I think you can interpret fire through dance, but that was there a kind of practice for that, or any kind of logic to it, that when Zach said, well, this is where you're going at this point?
No, I think there was, I mean, the idea is that there didn't need to be any sort of logic to it. I think it's kind of, what's amazing about it is that is left to every audience member's different separate imagination. You know, it's the fact that you see this girl start to dance and it transports you to this different world. And so I think the dance really is the battle scenes. I think if you ever actually saw me dancing, you wouldn't really have the same
We have
effect.
a camera right here, we have a bit of space, we can pull back and put some music on, you could interpret.
Let's leave it a mystery. I think that we should maybe leave it a mystery.
In a very good way, to me, this is a film that was written by a very horny 12-year-old boy. It has all the fantasy stuff that a young boy of that age would sort of want in a movie. And I don't know, for you guys, playing what is in many ways an idealised sort of fantasy of beauty and sexiness and all those things, whether it's quite fascinating and liberating, or whether it's kind of just hard work to know that you're going to get it right.
Well, you know, I think it's a little limiting to say that it comes from a 12-year-old boy's mind, because I know when I was a 12-year-old girl, I was also imagining fantastical characters, fantastical heroes. I was imagining myself as many different women, many different types of women. And, you know, when I imagine the ultimate version of myself, it's not, you know, me in sweatpants, sort of like, you know, like rolling around on the ground. It's me as like some sort of fantastical superhero that's like, you know, sexy and confident and powerful and vulnerable and all of these different things. So I think that it's, you know, it's operating on many different levels of fantasy, and I don't think that it's isolated to a teenage boy, or you would have to call me a teenage boy, because these are absolutely part of my fantastical imaginings of my life.
Yeah,
you know?
and I think, you know, even, you know, if that's exciting for young boys to see strong women, I think that's great. I think that's a great thing, because these girls are tough, you know, they're not within the world of the brothel, they're somewhat objectified, but when they go into these fighting worlds, they're strong. And so if boys find that sexy, then I love that. That's fantastic. But at the same time, for me, I know as a young girl, I would have loved to have seen this kind of film where girls are fighting. I think it's just as exciting for young girls to see, and to have these sort of this varied and interesting group of girls that they can relate to within this action world that's often reserved for men. So I think it's really cool for girls as well.
Rock and roll. I'll be giving the friendly finger. Very nice to talk to you, ladies.
Friendly finger.
Yeah. Cheers. Cool. Thanks. Malone, is there any Irish